2024 is no more. I am wishing you all a safe and happy new year. Anything to add, Minimus? Minimus seems to think that summed it up quite nicely. It has been a crazy year for the channel. This will be my 4th year making videos, and in the last year the channel grew from somewhere around 400 to 500 subscribers to over 10,000. That's a crazy increase that we're unlikely to replicate again in the future, but I am so happy to have you all here. Thank you very much for joining me, and let's go and take a deep dive into my One Chunk account, where it's at, what its bank is looking like, what my chunk map is looking like, and take a look at my drop log as well. Okay, let's jump into the bank, and if you draw your attention to the top here, we have a total of 31.6 mil in value, and that is really not very much. But that's mostly because my current grinds are just dying a lot. I'm not really accruing resources, but the resources we do have got 2.4 mil in cash, and the stack of valuables that's worth, I think, somewhere around 5 mil. And of course, pride of place, the Echo Crystal, our unique from the Colosseum, one of 2. You can see the other one peeking out from the next tab behind here. We've got the Stale Baguette, which is perfect for our sandwich collection. I love collecting sandwiches, and there's another thing I've got a bit later on that is a few of them, but it's just wonderful. We've got our beads from Imps. Then we've got all these just stacks of items that I like having, our house keys, the bone shards, that would be such good prayer XP if I could use them. We've got our stardust, which I could mine a lot more of. There's a star spawn right next to the bank here that I see really often, but I'm just not working on mining at the moment. Sometimes if I want to AFK I'll find one, but my go-to AFK is actually yew trees more of the time. Other interesting things we have in here, we've got the fox whistle, so if we ever get the woodcutting pet we can turn it into my favourite, the fox. We've got our loop half of key for the moon chest, but we do not have a tooth half yet. And we've got an easy clue that's doable, that if I'm working on something that drops easy clues, I will juggle this. Okay, into our gear tab, and let's look at our setups. If I put on... I cannot yet equip the Sunfire helmet, but this is looking pretty good. We've got our Amulet of Strength and our Rune Mace and some pretty tanky gear. If I swap this now for my ranged gear, I've got the Myth Square Shield in here for if I'm using knives or a crossbow or something, but we've got full studded and we've got a yew shortbow, which I fletched myself, which I'm really proud of. And the coif is from a beginner clue, I think. And of course, finally, our mage gear. We've got our Amulet of Magic, and we've got some absolutely beautiful robes. And of course, the yew shield doesn't have any negative mage, so it's really nice for if I'm maging things just for a little bit of defense. And I have access to a couple of blood runes, but mostly I'd be using death runes because you can get them from Aubrey's shop in Varrock. Other things got here, got all my ammo. I've got 32,000 bronze bolts, which I've picked up from various things. I'll show you my drop logs in a second. And rune plate bodies for when I get the chance to use them later. My other melee weapons here also, this is a crush weapon, this is my best flinching weapon, this is my best slash weapon, and this is my best stab weapon. So if I'm ever needing a specific style, that's what these ones down here are for. Okay, onto our supplies tab. You can see my blood rune stack is not particularly healthy. While technically I do have access to them, I won't be using them very much. The death runes are what we're going to be using much more. Elemental runes don't matter. We've got Aubrey's shop. These lore runes, these are super important because they're going to turn into 1 snape grass each. And the nature runes are going to be good for alching if we ever need money. And I've got a big stack of cosmics from what I've been working on recently, so I can enchant any jewellery I need. Our food is looking a little bit low because I'm constantly eating food, but I've been quite conservative on the prayer pots and I've been trying to make more, so we're actually looking really good on the prayer pots. And remember, each of these was more than 1 lore rune or 1 snape grass each, so those are kind of brutal. And down here I've got random other things that technically are supplies. I've been considering putting these kebabs with my sandwich tab, or maybe this bread as well. This has been drops from Black Knights and this is from random events. Okay, onto our skilling tab. Now this is a good one actually. We've got my myth axe, my best in slot axe, and my iron pickaxe, my best in slot pickaxe, because you cannot smith a better one of those, which is unfortunate. then just general supplies, crafting stuff, and gems, which are really easy to obtain from the gem stall. And I've got quite a lot of crafting banked with these gold bars and gems if I want to make some stuff. Then we've got our smithing. Got another 200 bronze here, a whole bunch of gold ore from the Colosseum and a little bit of mining, and coal ready to go. A lot of these steel bars are actually dropped from Black Knights, but if I need to train a bit of smithing, I've got resources for a little bit of stuff, and maybe more than XP, as I can use these just to make useful things. Then we've got our logs. We have access to regular logs, oak logs, and yew logs. Yew logs are one of my go-to AFKs, that's why I've got a few thousand of them, and then along with this 6,500 yew bows that I have made, but only have 4 bowed strings, because the only place I can get bowstrings from is from, I think it's young implings, which I generally catch as I'm going through the Varrock Gate. We got arrow tips, which I could turn into arrows at some point if I want the XP, but the feathers are a little harder to obtain. Feathers are from maze randoms or from chickens just outside the gates in Varlamore here, which chickens are my best prayer training method, so there might be something I return to and start picking up the feathers. The fishing bait, 2,200 of them. I don't think I can buy this anywhere, but this is a drop from men and from thieves, and the fishing rod is from the charter ship, so I can use that to actually catch fish. And there's a spot down here that I can be here and here. This one we can fish at. There is sharks here, but I cannot catch sharks because I do not have a harpoon or barbarian training yet. Continuing through the bank, we've got my work in progress 1,000 tuna potatoes. These all need to be churned into butter, which is one of the next steps. And then I need to get the tuna and the sweet corn to go with it, but that will go later. That guy has a sick cape on. It's just, yeah, it's so flat. And other supplies, my rune crafting stuff. I have access to the earth altar, so these can be turned into earth runes, and I actually need to be doing that a bit because I need to craft some sunfire runes soon. That is my skilling tab. Let's move on to my herblore and farming tab. So I like to lay these out with my grimy herb, my clean herb, then my unfinished potion, my secondaries, my seeds, and then farming stuff goes on the right. I think that's a really nice layout for the bank. The only secondaries you can see I have access to are Snapegrass, which are lore runes, 78, because I've telegrabbed them from a table, and I can get chocolate dust for any Harrowlanders. Only these herb stacks I can actually turn into potions. These ones all I just get XP from cleaning them, and we've got a few thousand herbs total spread across various things. I've been collecting seeds. There is an allotment patch, and the allotment patch is one chunk away. This is a very scary chunk, so I need to have my seeds ready, but if I need more, there's master farmers right down here, really close to the bank, which is quite nice. There's also another farming patch here for a hardwood tree. And if you look in here, no teak or mahogany seeds have been obtained from birds' nests yet, but I've got various other things lying around. Why are my erits not on? Let's put the erits in the right spot. There we go. I don't have the toad flax because I once had these from a random events, but I decided I'm not taking those anymore so that I don't have to make Sara brews. Okay, onwards to my Fashionscape tab. It's got my 2 favorite items that I put with almost every outfit. I've got my shoulder parrot, which does not yet have a name. Maybe ask my channel members what they want to name the shoulder parrot, and it can be up to them. And my favorite hat. I love this hat with this character model. I think it looks spectacular. Onwards to the junk tab. Okay, let's actually get those sweet corn. They need to go into my skilling tab, and they need to go next to these. Oh, they're part of my making 1,000 tuna potatoes. I just didn't have them in the right spot. Yeah, I should have done a little bit more thorough clean out, but this is just random crap. I pick up basically every item I can possibly obtain, and I chuck it in the bank just to try get this 860 full, and then I can get rid of the garbage. But look, I've got an agility potion too from Dr. Jekyll, so I'm ready for whenever I need to boost for an agility shortcut, or maybe we get Karamja and I head to Taibo One Eye. Unlikely. And the final tab here is a secret. That's something I haven't shown in my last video, but is a thing that I want to be in my next progress video, so you don't get to see that for now. Let's put back on our nice gear and let's have a look at the chunk map. So here we are on my chunk map, and my active chunk, the one I've just rolled, is this one over here, and it's given us the following chunk tasks that we're currently working on. Bake a tuna potato, and I plan to make 1,000 of them. The reason I'm not doing more is because to get the milk to make the butter, I need to teleport to my house using a lore rune. So that is -1 prayer pot for every trip to the house I make to get the milk for tuna potatoes. I need to mix a fishing potion. This requires 50 herb lore, and that's why I have so many herbs, is anytime I'm not in the Colosseum, I'm farming herbs from the men and women in this building here, and also killing the Black Knight in here for the snape grass. And the snape grass lets me use that as a secondary to turn my Ranars into prayer pots, so just farming here is really important. And currently we're training our attack with that because I've reached the maximum hit I'm planning on getting in this chunk. The next important thing, 60 prayer to wear Sunfire Fanatic armor, which of course comes from the Colosseum, and since having access to air runes and prayer potions, I have unbacklogged this, though the Fortis Colosseum still has a lot of backlogged things. Everything from wave 9 onwards is currently backlogged, so that's the ores, the dragon dart tips, and the arrow tips, and the Tunnel sticks of Ralos because they're super rare, the quiver, the pet, the onyx. There's really late drops in there, but everything from before then, which is importantly the Echo Crystal, which we've got, the Sunfire Fanatic Helm, which we've got, and now I just need the Sunfire Fanatic top and bottom, which I do not have yet. And each of those is going to be one video each, so there's 2 more videos in this chunk till I get all of this done. One will be when I get the next drop, and then one will be finishing it off and rolling a new place. And then I need to train my rune crafting. I have access to the earth altar up here somewhere, and I have access to earth talismans from men and women, and I have access to, because I did rune mysteries before I started as part of the prep for my account in case I needed it for doing any rune crafting, which it turns out I did, which is really cool. I have access to the essence mine here. There is the rune crafting skill cape here as well, but I do not need skill capes for my rule set. I'm doing, I guess you could call it a semi-extreme, so I am going for some very difficult things, but I'm not doing the full extreme set. And that is all the tasks I have left in my current chunks, so let's talk about the chunks I have available, what they have in them, and then the chunks that I have possible roles. We started up here where we arrive at the Quetzal, and in this chunk we did a lot of flinching things to be able to kill a knight, and we did a lot of thieving from the citizens to be able to thieve from guards, to be able to thieve from those knights as well. Some classic early one chunk stuff, and some pretty bad trading methods. We got down into the bazaar, and the bazaar has the general store, it has these trees here, and an axe spawn. Let me do fletching, and I had to get up to fletching a diamond. I had to cut a diamond from this gem stall, because we could train crafting with bone statuettes from these houses. These surrounding chunks, we got this one with a weapon store, which was beautiful. This gave me an adamant scimitar, very good for training my combat. Over in the Kothon, we got our thieves up in this house over here, which were a great training method, and I've killed a lot of. I haven't showed you my drop log yet, but we are going to get there soon, I promise. And there's also a charter ships here, which lets me buy lots of useful things, including crafting supplies, because when we got this furnace down here, it gave us a bank finally, and we were no longer a UAM. That was a huge roll, loved that. But also this was walking between here and here, just doing crafting non-stop. Buying 13 of each soda ash and buckets of stand, coming down, smelting them at the furnace and going back, or sometimes banking them if I wanted to be super AFK. It also gave me yew trees, which was a big fletching grind to be able to make a yew shield, and fire making as well to be able to burn the log, but the fletching is way harder. Then other chunks we have around here, we got lots of dead chunks all around the back, which are really funny. at various points. And we've got this one here, which is really nice. It's got our buffaloes, it's got another bank, it's got all the other things for the valuable thieving, and some sweet corn letting us do those tuna potatoes. There is a wheat field, but I don't do puro puro on this account. I do catch implings, but puro puro I'm treating as in Xanaris. When I get access to Xanaris through here, this is a permanent entrance to it on the map, so I'm treating it as part of this chunk. Anything that's permanently in one chunk, I treat it as part of there, not a part of chunks where it may be temporarily. So for example, another thing with that is shooting star requirements are all in this chunk where the shop is, and none of the star spawns, which are random and I can never guarantee will be anywhere, none of those trigger chunk tasks for me. Alright, our southern chunks. We got our unaggressive sand crabs here. This was a brutal grind. We had to fight so many. I don't remember how many thousands I killed, but it was a very large number. To do our smithing, we were getting the ores from them, the bronze, the tin and copper ores, and then we could smelt them here and smith them down here. And our rule with smithing is that we have to make any upgrades with smithing. I don't have to make the highest level skilling challenge, being not extreme, so I don't have to go to 99 to make a rune plate body, because I can't equip a rune plate body, so it's not an upgrade sort of thing. And then we've got our mining grind down here that we had, where we mined a lot of gold ore for smithing as well, because this also had mithril and meant we had to make a mithril shield. Then we had the Colosseum, the big roll, and that has been a lot of what this account has been about, is dealing with getting things from the Colosseum and how far we can get through. I'm really proud with how far we've done in it so far, and there's a lot left to do. Okay, over into Varrock, we rolled out here with the Quetzal, and this chunk has basically nothing, but this one here was huge. We've got the rune shop, allowing me to cast any spells I need, great for the Colosseum, one of the things that unlocked it. It's got the archery shop, so I can get ammo. It's got a staff shop, so I can get a real staff. It's got Charlie the Tramp here, so I can do beginner clues, and there's a couple of easy clues in Horvik and around too, so I actually have options to doing easy and beginner clues. I've done a couple. And then we got the Lumberyard, unlocking construction, unlocking lore runes, unlocking rune crafting, unlocking herb lore. Really, I can now get secondaries for things that aren't Harrowlanders, all sorts of stuff, and that's where we're currently working on. Okay, let's look at our possible future roles. Starting off in Varrock, this chunk up here, totally free. This chunk over here would have to mine some limestone and chisel some limestone bricks, I think, but I believe that's about it. I might be able to do a little bit of Rag and Bone Man. Down to the dig site. The dig site is basically useless, there's nothing to do here. But I'm not many chunks away from being able to roll to Fossil Island. I think that and the exam center are actually all I need. If I get those two chunks there, I actually would be able to get to Fossil Island, and that would be super cool. We've got this mine down here, which has unicorns, and I'd be able to mix anti-poisons. There's another clue step here, which would be nice to have, but a pretty unimportant chunk. Though the unicorn would be really nice to make herblore training even better. Come across to this chunk here, it's got the Dark Wizards. I think that's it. Is literally just the Dark Wizards for now. And there's various quest progress things in here, but nothing that matters for me just yet. Over to the Cook's Guild, which would have some... I think I'd be able to do Gertrude's Cat. That would be cool. Okay, the palace up here. This is a big one. And not only because of the palace is really good, but it's also got a tree patch, which could be very interesting. And it's got the sewers here. Now this sewer map I'm treating slightly differently than other people are doing. This sewer has two entrances. It has one here, and it has one here. And in that dungeon, let me jump over to Runelight and we'll bring up the underground map on here. If we go into this underground map, we've got this side and we've got this side, and they're separated by an agility shortcut. Anytime a cave system has multiple entrances and a natural breakpoint, I'm going to treat each side of the breakpoint as part of their respective entrance. So I will not be using this pipe squeeze until I have both sides, and this side here from the Varrock Palace will have Bryophyta, and this side here from Edgeville will have Obor, splitting that very large chunk up between 2 locations. That's all our chunks around Varrock. The next chunk we would have is being able to get to Karumja. That would be really cool. It's got a fruit tree patch and a spirit tree patch. We'll not sure how I'd end up dealing with those. We'll worry about that when it comes to it. I have access to Alderan, which would be a super cool place to go. This might be one of my favorite chunks to roll. And really any of the ones around Varlamore. Let's see what we've got here. We've got this one over here, which I believe has nothing. This patch here, which has an enormous farming grind on this farming patch to plant a torstal, and I'm not exactly sure how I would deal with this. My current plans, I think, for farming will be if I complete every non-farming task in the chunk, and I have enough seeds banked to get the farming level, then I will move those over into the next chunk and roll away from it, as long as it's only farming left. But that might be something that changes once I start playing it, if it's going to be best for the series and for, of course, my enjoyment, which, believe it or not, I do care about, despite playing a chunk account. Nah, just kidding, I love playing a chunk account. Okay, in the savannah, this one here has a pestle and mortar spawn, or is it this one? One of these has a pestle and mortar spawn. I think it might be this one here. And the pestle and mortar spawn from one of these would be really cool, and the other one is dead content, basically. There's just nothing here. Down to the oasis, I would love this chunk. It would give me Ribbiting Tail, and I could do that quest, which would be super cool, and I would have access to the hardwood tree patch, which at some point I might be able to plant one. And down at 5, I don't think there's anything down there. I think that's a free chunk as well. So there's a lot of free chunks, really, around, and there's a lot of very large grinds. It's going to be really interesting to see where we roll next. Some other notable things I would like to point out around the place is the agility course. I would love to get the agility course here. I believe it's this chunk has the hill giants in it, and hill giants would give me the long and curved bone plus way better prayer training than I currently have available, though I need to get level 60 prayer on regular bones already, so that's kind of brutal. We've got, of course, Alderan with mastering mixology here, and the Hunter Guild, where I should be able to pick up some Hunter gear and actually train Hunter properly. We have Camtorum entrance, which gets us to Perilous Moons, and I've been lamping my Slayer, because to get in here you need 48 Slayer. And my current progress with this lamping is that we're up to 29. The stat page also looking really good. We've got heaps of things here. My lowest skill is farming with level 4, and that's pretty much all come from doing forestry with the flowering bush things. And every now and then I do some more forestry, and it just goes up really slowly. But it will be nice to have if I unlock a farming patch to have that little boost, because everyone knows the start of farming is really slow. This chunk up here I would absolutely love to get to, because it has a really good prayer training method, being able to use my blessed bone shards. And then if I can get right round up here, all this new stuff would be super cool. Over near Karumja, we've of course got the Inferno here, which would be a brutal one to get to and is only 3 rolls away. So I would like that to take a while before we get there, because unlike the Colosseum, there's no like nice breakpoints of being able to get stuff. I can't like get Sunfire Fanatic, which, you know, only requires getting like halfway through. And then over around Varrock, I would love to get these 2 chunks I mentioned before to have the chance to get to Fossil Island. Coming down into Lumbridge or Alcarid would be awesome, and getting one of the giant bosses I think would be super fun as well. Chances, if I can get the palace and then over here to be able to make our way into Mauritania, it's not that many rolls away, but it's more likely to get into the wilderness, which I really don't want. This chunk would be super gross. Let's steer clear of that one, please. The final thing I wanted to show you is my drop log over here on the side. I've been catching a few implings recently as I run around, because I've just been standing around recording things, and yeah, you can see my young and baby impling loot, and then we get to the more important stuff. We have 8,500 woman kills, Mostly for the regular bones and the herbs. Everything else is fairly unimportant. You can see this is where I got a lot of my bronze bolts from. But really, we're trying to train prayer. We need to get up to level 60 with regular bones. Where's prayer? There. We need to get up to level 60 with regular bones, and we're only 3 and a little bit levels away. We're getting there. It's a long journey, but we're getting there. And these herbs, we need to get up to 50 herb lore. And I often juggle the easy clues from them so that I've got the chance to complete them, because I do have doable steps in my areas. And then same with the man. So regular citizens together, we've got just over 13,000 kills on those. That's quite a lot, but a lot more left to do still. But then we move on to the Black Knights. We have one singular Black Knight spawn in our areas, and we've killed it coming up on 9,000 times, and actually more than that, because things get a little bit split over some Runelight profiles with my work computer and with my playing on mobile, but the majority of them are on my PC, so this I'm just going to call the total. I don't know why there's an easy clue here. I'm pretty sure they don't drop easy clues. I think that's a mistake from Runelight. We've got some rare drop table rune javelins. That one's fun. And we've got lots of bones, lots of steel bars. That's really nice and banked smithing stuff. And the lore runes. These have been turned into construction XP as they're the only way I can get to my house, and into prayer pots as they're the way I get snape grass, which these snape grass seeds, also super rare, but very valuable. I love it every time I see a snapegrass seed drop. Down to the next big impressive number, we have killed 18,000 thieves. This is where the majority of my herb lore has come from, plus a whole lot more bones for prayer XP, 20,000 bronze bolts, a lot of which I have picked up. A couple of easy clues, though most of these got left because I did a lot of my thief kills before I had realistically doable steps. And you can see our imps. I like to tag these anytime they're nearby, because these fiendish acids are basically 2 bones each, so technically I don't have to do it only with regular bones. I could hunt down imps and get 10 prayer XP per kill. Absolutely huge. Some bird nest loot. Some guards. I've only done 1,000 guards. They're the place I can get medium clues from. So maybe sometime I try go for a medium clue, though I haven't planned to yet. You can see my loots from pickpocketing, from 3 easy clues, from 14 beginner clues that I've completed, and from wealthy citizens, all the pickpocketing from them, 42,000 pickpockets, pretty nice. And there's my, there we go, 25,500 sand crabs to get these ores. I have taken 28 loots from the Colosseum, and that's got me 2 of my uniques, and basically each of these claims was either I was forced to go out by terrible modifiers, which is not much, because most of the time I try it either anyway, but most of the time it was something new that I claimed and I wanted, so it's like, when I see that, I claim it. When I saw that the first time, I claim it. When I get those the first time, I claim them. And that's all the important stuff, really. There's not much else down here. And that's it for my bank video going into the year of 2025. Thank you so much for showing some interest in this account and my channel in general. It's been a great year for me and a super exciting one going forward. Not just for YouTube, but most importantly for me because my band is about to release an album coming up in the next few months. Super excited for that. If you happen to be a channel member, and a huge thank you to you if you are, but let me know what you want to call the parrot. I haven't decided yet, and if you guys give me some suggestions, I'll pick one of those that I think is cool, and we'll have a new named parrot friend for the next episode, even though in the timeline of the next episode when I get it won't have a name, I'll just call it that in post. The next chunk video I can promise no timeline on because I need to get the next piece of Sunfire Fanatic, and until I get that, I will not upload the next video, hopefully soon, but maybe it'd be ages. We'll see when that happens, and whenever it happens, it happens. That makes it even more exciting. And I mentioned them before, but thank you so much to my channel members. Especially to best friend of the channel, Scarlett. Thank you so much for all the support this year. It has been above and beyond. And also to the wonderful Shiem in Dallas. Big support from you two. Thank you heaps. And to everyone else, to Michael G, to Noctiverse, to Parakiwi, to Trogathor, TrodWikiPad, Max, DI, and DiggyDogSP. Thank you all so much. And of course, to the few others of you who supported me at various times during the year, much appreciated to you too. Even if you don't continue your channel membership, every little bit really is appreciated. So I will see you all soon with more League stuff. Have yourself a wonderful new year. Much love from me.